Congratulations, you've made it to step number 3. This is neck adjustment. Not that type of neck adjustment, guitar neck adjustment. It's not as complicated as it sounds. And in fact, if it wasn't for my friend Matt Sabbath at Brighton Music Center, I would never have started adjusting guitar necks. So don't be afraid. Dig in. Part 3, adjust your neck. Step number 3. We want to assess the plane of the neck. We want to see how straight it is. So of course you can use a straight edge, but here's the technique that's really simple and very accurate. Take your capo, put it right over the first metal fret bar, okay? Not down on the wood part, put it right over the metal bar. Now, we take the guitar like this. Take one of our fingers, pointer finger, and push down on the top fret. What you've just created here is the perfect straight edge. It's a string, right? The string is perfectly straight from there to there. This will tell us how much relief or how much back tension we have on the neck. So relief is when the neck is bowed more this direction, and it means that the strings will generally be further from the fretboard. If you have too much tension on it, it'll bend back, which is not cool at all because then every fret will buzz. So you want to check that now. But here's what we do. We push down right here on this last fret or right at the top, wherever you can. And then I like to look right along the string and try to push it down with my other hand, my left hand. I just want a little bit of relief there. I want to be able to pluck the string and hear it play without it buzzing. I check there, then I check over at the high end. Now I have a little bit of relief there. Now let's use our feeler gauge to see how much relief we have. Okay, so what we have here are what are called feeler or thickness gauges, okay? Generally, I will tell you when it's my guitar, I don't use a feeler gauge, but if you want to use a feeler gauge, that's fine. I know that the average lays somewhere between 0.005, which is super thin, all the way up to 0.020. Yeah, here's a 20. That's pretty thick. I'm not sure I'd want that. I'd probably go right in the middle there, maybe around 12. And it all depends on how much you care about string buzz, right? Because the thicker of a relief you put, the less buzz you'll have, but it's sometimes harder to play because the action will be higher. We have our capo at the top here. We're going to push down right here. And then we're going to try to, with the other hand, put this between the string. Okay? Right now we have more than that. Here's 20 thousandths of an inch. I'm going to do it this way. Yeah, it's a lot less than 20. I personally like it closer to the fretboard, so I'm going to use 12 or 13. Let's push this down. All right, it's barely touching. We're going to stick with that. Now what I also like to do, I take the capo off and I look down the neck. Does that look straight? Does it look like it's too convex or too concave?
Inconceivable! You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Actually, this one looks like it has too much relief. It's just bowing a lot for me. I'm gonna go over to a little more manual method. This is a straight edge. It's the, who knows what brand that is, but it's a guitar straight neck straightness check tool. You can use the flat side, lay it on there, and see if you can tell the distance between there. And I don't see much. It's really freaking me out because my eyes are telling me differently. Yeah, I guess it's about accurate. It's showing me about that 12 or 13 1/1000ths of an inch. I know that's fine. I'm going to leave it at that. In case you need to do that, normally, unless you have a PRS, you'll just use like an Allen key like this with a little ball end on it. You stick it in this little slot up here, and it lets you adjust. And when you righty-tighty, it will cause the neck to bow backwards, which is putting tension on the neck. When you lefty-loosey, if you loosen this nut a little bit, it will cause the neck to go this direction, which gives you more relief, but also higher action, okay? We're not going to adjust this one. I don't even have the particular wrench needed for this, but it's not too scary and dangerous to do. But what you do want to be careful is, don't go crazy and crank, 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 and like, oh, I want it to be tight. Don't go crazy. Do maybe a quarter turn and then let it sit for a few seconds, maybe 15, 20 seconds. If you need a little more, do a little more, and then look at it again. Look for the straightness of it. Use your straight edge again. And then also, if you really want to, you can set up the capo again on the first fret and check with your finger and do the tension test and the feeler gauge. Once you get that right, then you're ready to move on.